Hi, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, my friends. Uh, this is Aaron Swan back again with another video. Since it's been a while, uh, probably a few weeks, about a month or so, since I've actually done any kind of video that's not a stupid meme or something cringy. I figured I'd do a discussion again and update you guys on what's been happening, how I've been, uh, namely depression, I believe, and how that ties into, I guess, myself. I don't know. I'll get into it, I suppose. So lately, I've been thinking about uh, my personal growth, my progress as far as my journey, and how that ties into separation and karma as a general term for life, uh, and anxiety and namely my friendships, I suppose. But I'll get into it. You'll see what I'm talking about by the end of the video. So a little bit of a backstory plus updates. I'm living in Kentucky now. I'm working at the local KFC, which local for me is about 10 miles away. Um, made a few friends. I like working there. But uh, this kind of ties into my depression and how I've been thinking about separation and depression and how that mixes in with karma. So, as a few people know, I've been single for almost 2 years. Wow, almost 2 years. Um, and I feel like I've grown enough that I would like to try to pursue a relationship. I know I have a lot of growth yet to do, but like, there's always that little biting feeling in the back of my brain that says, well, maybe I should try to get back in the dating scene gradually, slowly, and healthily. So I'm not too much of in my mind, a toxic person. Um, and there's this person at work she's a very awesome coworker, and she's a very awesome person, cool person, beautiful, amazing, nice, uh, very genuine person. Um, she's been having some problems lately since I've met her, and uh, I've been trying to help her out, and we get into these really nice, deep discussions. And I've found myself getting more and more uh, standoffish, I guess. And I don't know why. I guess it's because I've come to terms with the fact, in my mind at least, it's coming off in my mind that I've hit the realization that I've become a very disposable and unlikable person, I suppose. It's hard to describe, I guess. Like I accept that people have more friends than just me, and when I get into my little depressive stages, when I hit some of my turns, I tend to go really quiet and thoughtful, and I I'm very much not a person for small talk, which I don't know why. I mean, I guess to me I like the deep subjects, like how I'm talking to you guys. Um, but I find myself getting irrationally jealous about her friend. Like, I realize that I've helped her, and these people have way more friends, especially since in the long run I'm the newbie. I mean, I'm a strange person from a strange place because let's face it, Michigan is strange. But um like I for some reason I get irrationally jealous to the point where it just drives me to silence and depression because my friends are talking to other friends. I don't understand it even in my own brain what's going on. But but no, it's in my mind it's kind of impacted or compounded uh the realization that I'm very much a dispensable person as a friend and as anybody really to talk to. What I mean by that is, like, I'll hit it off with somebody very genuinely, and I'll talk to them and all that stuff. And it's been going on recently with a couple other people, um, where I'll sit there and I'll help them on their journey of life and get them kind of into a healing stage for themselves, and kind of, set them off on that track to self improvement. And I'll tell them about a few books that I've read, mainly You're a Badass by Jen Sincero, and We're All Doing Time by Bolazov, and just stuff that I feel has genuinely helped me, and I feel like other people could benefit from talking with me about stuff as far as self healing and dharma and karma and life. um, but at the very same time, it feels like as soon as I start talking to people like that about that, uh, I kind of fade away from from conversations start dwindling, and I feel like I become very obscure in people's minds, and eventually it just stops communication. And it hurts. It really hurts. Because I'll just sit there and wait for people to talk, and nobody will talk, and I'll be left unread. And I'm sorry about the rambling. uh, but yesterday I was thinking about it in one of my stupid little fits of silence while breading chicken and doing, restaurant stuff. I was thinking to myself how depression and silence affect separation and ultimately karma. And I was pondering that pretty much all night up until about an hour ago, taking notes and reading what I could. Uh, and surprisingly, many uh, there's not many there's not many subjects that cover depression and silence and how that affects separation and negative karma and stuff like that. So, sorry, I had to go get my notebook. So for those of you guys who don't really understand the basics of karma, uh, every thought, word, and deed tends to be a seed or a root that we plant in this world. And sometimes it's easy to see, like, for instance, stepping on a shovel or slipping on a banana peel. It's immediate and not. It's immediate and obvious, the repercussions of karma and how that ties in. And sometimes it's immediate but not obvious, kind of like going on and flipping on a light switch, and uh, the wires are hidden, but the effects are still there. You flip on that switch, the wire from the switch travels to the light, and it poof. And sometimes it's hard to follow and not immediate, kind of like setting an alarm clock and forgetting about it. Uh, you set that time, like for me, it's 6 in the morning, and I'll set it, and then by the time I fall asleep and just kind of lose track of time, I'll completely forget about it and be startled by it, and it's a wake up. But it was still set by my hand. And working karma is simply undoing our own ignorance to get back in step with nature. Um, and I know that everything happens for two purposes. You're either paying your karmic dues, or it's an opportunity to come closer with your higher power, truth, God, self, the universe, as I like to call it. Um, and as we become more aware of this process, we tend to cooperate more with the law of karma, because we realize what we're doing has an effect on people, and it can create separateness or separation. There we go, or uh, togetherness. Uh, at the very end of our karmic journey, it's called enlightenment, of course. Uh, so once we're united with the universe, we cease to create any karma at all, just like Buddha, Jesus, any of the enlightened higher powers. So that's a little bit of a refresher on karma. I'm in my mind. That's how I describe karma, and those are the notes that I've taken based on my spirituality, which isn't really tied. It's my own kind of spirituality. Sorry, it's not quite Buddhism and it's not quite Hindu, and it's a conglomeration of multiple traditions and spiritualities and religions and stuff like that. But I was thinking about it to myself yesterday, as I said before, like 2 minutes ago. Uh, how does deliberate depressive silence and depression as a whole tie into karma and the big picture? And I'm still thinking about it, and I'm still polishing myself out on my ideas, so bear with me as I explore my own brain in this video. So I guess to start off with my little exploration into psyche and separation and silence and depression and how all that ties together, I feel like I should bring up that there are genuinely 4 types of attachments and what those effects are, I suppose. Um, the first one of those is attachment to the senses, uh, which is kind of like feeding pleasures and desires, and a lot of people do it to avoid what's difficult in their minds. A lot of addictions, escapism, uh, a lot of pretty much just addictions and what you do to escape your mind and reality, and that's an addiction, or that's an attachment to the senses. A second one is attachment to views and opinions, and a lot of these is used especially lately in politics. Views of self and others, prejudices, obsessions, beliefs. It all those create separation and exclusion from self or others, like depression and racism. Anything that you use to separate you or yourself from another group or from other people, which is one of them that I'm going to be talking about. Uh, Another one is traditions and religion, principles, forms, gurus, escaping into those by going to like teachers and workshops. It's a type of attachment through identification. Um, like how my spirituality is, I'll agree with more than like multiple different religions, but at the same time, I don't think it's healthy to group all people into one denomination and strictly follow the rules of that denomination or religion or identity as a group. Everybody's their own people. I think. I guess that's what I'm getting at as far as that one. Um, and the fourth kind of attachment is to yourself. The fundamental idea of me and identity, and the sense of being the controller or the victim, which is the other sense I'm going to be talking about, the me versus them, and all that, and anything that makes a self victim or the mindset of victimization. Um, the recognition of pain and suffering can act as an alarm system to literally any of these forms of attachment. And attachment, especially the two that I'm going to be talking about, the views and opinions, and to the self, they bring control, they bring jealousy, they bring possessiveness, pride, and very harsh ego and fear-based thinking. Um, Real relationships are based on non-attached, deep love and respect and listening and wide open, free communication and connection. Uh, so that being said, I believe I'm going to talk about 2 of those now. As my camera was drifting away with my mind. Um, but as far as to the attachment of views and opinions, based on obsessions, especially in depression, um, I I believe that that forms a negative karma by the negative thoughts that you have while in depression. And that's not saying that depression is bad and you shouldn't be depressed and all that stuff, because it's okay to feel not fine. And I've very much have gotten used to the idea of not being okay, but being okay with not being okay. Um, because in this life, everything, emotions, possessions, everybody, friends, relations, everything is props in the big picture. And at the same time, the realization that I'm a prop in other people's lives leads me to be depressed, and it's a vicious cycle of I have this anxiety that ultimately leads to me just going into a big old slippery slope of depression that when somebody doesn't need me anymore, they'll see me as just that prop, and I'm not going to be keeping my friends. And that's the idea of non-permanent relationships and non-permanent friendships makes me anxious, I suppose. Yeah, it makes me upset. uh, because as most of you guys know, I've gone through a divorce. I've gone through multiple breakups that make me feel like I'm not suitable to deserve a relationship because because what goes on in my head and all that stuff. And I feel like I'm not deserving of a healthy, compatible relationship that goes more into a short-term friendship, I believe. And in a way that ties into the attachment and the identity to self, because doing that and realizing, in my mind, realizing that, which is a great delusion, that very much gives me the victim mentality, where I'll go into that depression and that silence, which creates even more separation from people who genuinely want to be my friend and talk to me, and it drives them farther away from me, I believe. So, in a way, karma karma is affected directly pretty much by the negative thoughts and non deliberate actions based on your depression. Uh, for instance, how I was just saying that my depression normally causes me to think that I'm a prop and I don't deserve any friendships or relationships because of the hard wiring in my head that causes me to constantly go into these up and down swings of life and happiness and emotion, and just it creates separation because I'll either think I'm too good enough and that drives me to silence because I don't want to partake in any small talk, or and that's when I'm on my up, and when I'm on my down, I get silent because I get jealous and I don't think I'm deserving of anybody's time or anybody's emotion, and I don't want anybody to get too invested with me, and that causes me to be silent and be a drifter. And eventually, just either way, both of those, I feel, as much as I'm focusing on myself and trying to get better at it, uh, it all creates some form of separation, even though in my mind I'm consciously trying to make the decision to be happy and help myself realize that I am worthy of people's time and love, and that there is a potential for long-term friendships slash relationships slash romances, whatever comes my way. um I think in the long run I'm focusing too much on relationships right now. uh but the negative thoughts of me either being too good for people and not wanting to partake in small talk, and the flip side where I don't feel like I'm worthy of people's time, all those negative thoughts and actions directing or rooting from that, uh, either way, it all creates that separation, which eventually creates negative karma. And it's something I very much have to work on. I'm sorry I'm rambling so much, but um, it's something I got to work on. And I'm still trying to. Whenever I get the time, I do a little bit of research, and I try to meditate by myself and try to sit there and talk and help people through their problems, even though I realize I can't I can't pour from an empty cup. And that just takes more of me realizing that for me to uh I feel like getting to the end of that will help me realize that it's okay to not partake in everybody's problems or make everybody happy all at the same time, because you're never going to make everybody happy. And focusing on my own journey is what I need to focus on now. As much as I would love to, as much as I would love to be loved. Oh my gosh, dude. Like, the idea of a healthy relationship astounds me, and I can't wait for that to happen. But at the same time, I need to get through this little universal and karmic test of accepting myself for who I am and realizing that it's okay to be that it's okay to be that friend that doesn't always need to be the shoulder to cry on, and I don't need to always be there for everybody else. And that's okay. I'm okay with it. um it's completely fine for me, and I got to accept that. But anyways, I got to rambling again. I'm sorry. This is probably going to be a pretty long video of absolutely nothing that you guys want to hear. Um, but I enjoy it. If you guys have made it this far, comment what you guys think of what your guys' opinions are on karma and separation and depression. What do you guys think I should do as far as helping myself realize that I am not the crappy disposable friend like I think I am? Like, I'd love to hear you guys' responses. But anyways, I'm sorry if you guys made it this far. um, I hope to see you guys soon. I'll probably, hopefully, sometime this next week, I'll be doing a video that's not me whining or complaining or rambling. Um, it'll most likely be a song. I've been practicing a few songs. So, uh, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I love you guys. Bye.